There is no antidote. 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 There is no antidote.
Well, hello, peculiars, from my office downstairs. And I am very excited because this is like our kind of book. You know, this is like why I got involved in doing this in the first place. Right, Davey? I feel like this is all us.
I love this one. And this is I was telling Carly before we started, it's like going to see a stand-up comedian where you're like, I'm going to remember all these jokes, and you get to work the next day and you're like, it was funny.
There's too much going on. I can't remember.
We'll challenge you to see how many stories and scientific studies and different animals you remember from the book.
That's right. That's right. And I see a bunch of you here tonight. We've got Lorelei in Minneapolis, Sadie's here, and Leanne, Christy Meston, Sureka, who is coming from, it's very, very late at night there. Rachel, we've got Ryan. I saw you. Who else? Oh, she said it's after midnight there, but her alarm went off, so she's with us. Let's see who else. Randy there, and Grace from Ohio somewhere. Did I put you up? There's so many of you.
Maybe
So
we're gonna have
it's
to have
very,
a dedication award in honor of Sureka. You know, like for
she is. Yeah,
her.
she's she's doing it. It's pretty great. We also feel free to have lots of conversations in the side chat, not you want to make sure you're in the live part of the chat though, because otherwise if you're just in top chat, you miss all the good stuff. But essentially we're here today to talk about levitating frogs and salmon cannons and elephant pee. And it's all because of Carly Ann York. So hello, Carly.
Hello.
That was your little ink explosion.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
So the gang's all here. We're really excited to see you.
I'm excited to be here. Let's go.
So I have a question. Davey, did you listen to this one or did you read it? You listened to it.
Yep.
Okay, I listened to this one too. And guess what, guys? I was on the treadmill. And the elephant pee stuff, it's really hard to stay on the treadmill when you're laughing. I just want to say.
I want to know who else instantly walked into the bathroom and timed themselves peeing, because I did.
I absolutely did when I read it.
I was right around 20, 23 or 24 seconds. Yeah. I was right. Yeah.
That's amazing.
I did time the dog. The dog was shorter, but I think it's because he spreads it around. He pees on this bush, then they got to go pee on this bush and this fire hydrant.
Little masculine peer there that he's got to do a little. Lorelei, no Brandy, not the treadmill. We're gonna lose me this way someday because I listen to audiobooks on the treadmill and I have fallen off. We did move the treadmill, so now there's a chair behind it. So theoretically, my fall could be broken by the chair this time, which is not quite as bad as before. But
it was my original pitch to Maggie for my wife for a sketch. I was like, oh yeah, it'll be me peeing and then Brandy peeing and then you and then Mark. And she's like, we're not doing a sketch where I'm peeing. We're not doing that. No.
Shoot.
But you could have.
I was like, we would yell from around the corner. But
yeah. But what's really funny, of course, is that like Mark and I would have been all into that.
Yeah.
Oh, Kat is here too, and I'm really excited that Kat is here because Kat is our drinks maven, and when we get into the announcements, we'll get to see the fun things that happened there. I need a treadmill with bumpers. You're right. I probably do, like they have in bowling. Like you just, so I can't. Then I can't get off either. And I'm like, no, I must keep going. I look like a Muppet. Anyway, this book was fabulous and fun and such a nice break from everything being on fire and wars happening and it's snowing after it was 90 degrees or whatever. Yeah. So it's been a little wild. And I think, okay, questions are appearing in the chat. So if you are with us and you're not on the live feed, get on the live feed, put your comments and questions in. we have conversations that go on in the side, yes. But if you have questions, don't forget that it takes a few minutes for them to get to us. So go ahead and put them in. I star them, or Davey stars them, and then we make sure we get them in, get to them in order. So do that now. There's a lot to talk about. So you're gonna need to type fast. That's all I'm saying. But before we get into those questions, I always start off with a softball one, and then we will plunge into our announcements. When Leanne was in the green room, VIPs get to be in the green room with the author, and Leanne said, called you omnivorous, which I think is lovely in your sense of your breadth, right? You do all kinds of, there's a lot of different kinds of science in this book. And so where and how and why? Like, how did you end up with this topic for this particular book? It's also got a great title, I have to say.
Thank you. So this really stemmed from my own experience as a scientist and a researcher. I'm an animal physiologist, so I am within this world of weirdness. So like I have studied horses, I've studied cephalopods, which I really love the little ink poof for that. My research has always been falling under the category of like kind of silly. Why are you doing this? Is that really worth the money? And for me, this was an opportunity to really like think out well why it is worth the money and why this is a valuable way for us to like spend taxpayer dollars. And this,
like we are all scientists are presently having to defend these kinds of things. So you're just ahead of the game. You just got out there in front with all of your.
I did not. So this came out in June, but I hadn't touched it in like almost a year since before that. So I wasn't quite prepared for how terrible the funding situation would be like right when it came out. So it really did slide right on in there at like the worst but best possible time.
Yeah, no, I feel that. But it's a book of wonderful distractions. I almost felt like each chapter was almost a distraction from the last one, but in a positive way. I mean, they did in a good way, right? Like you're like, oh, I'll never forget this chapter on. Ooh, it's like everything was shiny. I was a raccoon and everything was shiny. I had to keep going with it. So it comes out of your interest. Title. So yeah, share with me about how you. I mean, I have a book called Mr. Humble and Dr. Butcher. So this is I'm in appreciation, but how'd you get there?
To be honest, this was really the publisher who came up with this title. I wanted something a little more risque. I wanted, let's see, what did I want? I wanted it to be like duck dicks punching shrimp and the law of urination, the value of like silly science or something. And they were like, absolutely not. So I was like, okay, what if we leave out the duck dicks? And I'm like, what about just like urination? No urination.
See, we're all like, dude, please.
Yeah, they let me go back and forth a few times, like pretend, like humoring me here. And then they were eventually like, you know what? We think this is a great title.
Okay, yeah, I like
that. That's where it landed.
Well, I wish, I do not know how, if I had thought about it in advance, there's been so much duck dick actually on our show over time, back through the history, that there's been a couple of different comedy sketches in which duck dicks feature. I feel very proud of this for us. I think that, I'm so pleased for us.
Definitely a reoccurring theme on the show.
It is. Definitely, it is. Yeah. And duck vaginas also come up a lot as well. I don't want to like
the whole duck
it's not anatomy. All just dicks. It's the whole duck anatomy thing. Sadie says this book is so perfect for Peculiar Book Club. There were so many things that touched on topics we've seen in other books. It's totally true.
The mantis strip, I think, was a quiz question for another author. I think
was.
I quizzed them on like how strong the punch was or something like that.
This is so funny. Mindy Weisberger, who's also one of our previous authors, she says you should always be proud to say there's been so much duck dick on this show.
Yeah.
We lead the internet in duck dicks. You're right, Ryan. We do. So anyway, you found your people is kind of what I'm.
I have, absolutely.
To you. And you can stay with us forever. We often collect authors as actual members who just continue being awesome and hanging out with us. But first, let us jump into announcements before I forget all about them.
Yes.
Yes, I do that on occasion. So the first slide is meet us on social. We are everywhere socials are, apparently, at this point. We've got some really interesting things, too, because if you're not, there's a bookclub.org, which we have a lovely Maven, Amanda, who runs that for us. And if you join that, it actually sends things directly to your calendar, so you never forget a show, which is great. We've got Goodreads. There's Discord. The Discord chat is kind of a whole bunch of mix of different things. We're on every podcast app. We've got our YouTube channel, which you're watching right now. We're on Blue Sky, Facebook. We have a Facebook group, which is private, so it keeps the weird in and the not good weird out. And like random, like photo bombing of other dicks that are not ducks. We keep those out that way. But if you join our group, you can actually participate in the conversation with us all the time, which is super fun. And Sadie Simmons is going, one of us. Yes, you have made it. And the other thing is our newsletter. So the wonderful thing about our newsletter is if you have had it with socials, if you're like, I don't want to meet you on social, I never want to go on socials again, that's okay too. So you can join and we'll send you links. And always at the head of the newsletter, I do some musing. What would you call that music? It's not exactly comedy. What would you call it, Davey? It's sort of
thoughtful, provoking.
Thoughtful, deep thoughts with Brandy.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Yeah.
Yes, Brandy's musings. So come for that. Stay for the rest of the information. Oh, yes. And you can still, so we did a membership drive in the beginning of the year so that we could pay our bills, but also you can join at any time. And the PayHip is our platform. You can join for as little as $5 and you get all kinds of cool stuff. So there's backstage with author, there's swag, there's extra content, you get to recommend books, all kinds of fun stuff goes on with that. You get to see behind the scenes stuff for the stop motion and upcoming new togetherness time. I think that's probably
our first. This is big because our first VIP event is coming up in April, and it's going to be the VIP movie night. And we've started the conversation on the Facebook group. So we've had some movies suggested. We were going to do a poll, but I got to be honest with you, the idea of the Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension.
That seems very peculiar.
Mindy suggested it, and I gotta say, Mindy, you kind of nailed the assignment here.
It does look pretty good, yeah. And I remember that show.
I've never seen it before, so I'll be coming in fresh.
It's so good,
right? I'll be coming in fresh, so you'll have all my fresh stream of conscious thoughts. So we're gonna kind of do it like Mystery Science Theater 3000, where I'm just gonna be on screen and we'll have a whole conversation. You in the chat, me on screen. We'll see if Darren can make it, my co-host on the movie side of things.
And we all get to be funny and ridiculous.
Yeah. So you want to be a VIP, so you get to come to that night. It's going to be an exciting night. So
yes, we're so excited about that.
All right.
The book cocktail. Yes. So the name was voted on, and this was the winning name, Elephant Peach. So this is a peach cocktail developed by Kat, half a fresh peach. You got cranberry juice, there's white rum and tequila, peach liqueur, and then a little floating frog of lime. You can see the little levitating frog up there with paprika. It's an amazing cocktail, but the name is kind of it's a peach. It's a peach.
The other one was about a levitating frog. What was the other name?
Frosty floaty frog or something.
Yeah, which I think fruity floaty frog, which is
fruity floaty frog.
There's literally a frog floating in the drink. So
there is. I know that was a good one too. But yeah,
and then speaking of peculiar movies, the Peculiar Movie Club continues on. Our March episode is going to be themed around the other March. Sorry, Carly, but it's going to be themed around the other March book. It's going to be themed around Immortal Gestures, which is going to be our next episode. And I needed a movie where people do a lot of gesturing. So the silent film The Artist, which I heard so much about. I wanted to see it, and then I never got around to seeing it. So I'll be coming in fresh to it. But I heard there's a lot of, in silent films, there's a lot of gesturing, right? You have to communicate non-verbally. So I think I racked my brain to try to figure out a movie that had gestures in it, So I think The Artist is, it's going to work. So that's going to be our March Peculiar Movie Club movie.
Kat says cocktail is also delicious. Drink 2 portions during testing night. Kat is amazing. I used to come up with the drinks, and I am not that creative. So I do have a full bar at my house, but I tend to lean towards the classic cocktails, and I just kind of ran out of steam. And, Kat just jumped in and was like, I'm all over this. And not only that, she takes those photographs. So she does those amazing drinks with the photo. I know. So much talent.
That paprika was popping.
Wasn't it? So, all right. Announcements are at an end, my friends. So what we're going to do is jump into the questions. We have some keyed up, and I would love to see additional ones pop in, and we will also, of course, follow up on that. So starting with Kristen Meston, she says, so can we start with the end of the book? Let's talk about why funding basic science is better than defunding it. It's a good question.
Yeah, I think that is a great question and a great statement in general. So the book is really a thesis about the value of basic curiosity-driven research, and that is one of the biggest sections of research that are on the chopping block right now.
Mm-hmm.
So my goal here was very much to be like, look, this can be silly. We might not know. It might not have any value. And for 30 years, it might not have any value. I don't say value. It might not have an application for 30 years. It might not have an application ever. It might have an application 5 years. But just the idea of building knowledge itself is a valuable way for us to spend our time and our money. So yes, fund the basic research, please.
And I think too, this concept of curiosity, right? So we our tagline here is if you're weird, you're family. But in addition, we've often said it's like for the curious, the quizzical, I forget even, we had a longer tagline that I could never remember, which is why we changed it. But this idea that curiosity is what builds us, it's part of what brings us hope and joy, there was so much that you talked about, some of which I happen to know a lot of weird facts. So it is hard to stump me. So most of it I was like, oh yeah, that was a good one. But I remember the first time you first realize the stuff we've done, like the levitating frogs. I knew that we did that, but also you're like, that's so, who had that idea? Like, what a crazy cool idea that is. Yeah. Or, we've talked about mantis shrimp and how amazing that is and how strange it is, and the fact that they can create something that's like got the power of the sun in a tiny little, is just beautiful and brilliant and amazing. And don't you want to know, there was a time we were all kids who wanted to know about dinosaurs and stuff. Don't you want to know the weird stuff? And I think that is what's so cool about it.
Yes, absolutely. I want to know the weird stuff. I know you all want to know the weird stuff because you've told me you're my peoples.
Yeah.
And, for the folks who it's weird, my brain doesn't work this way, but there are actually people who don't care.
Oh, I know. Dr. Sareka, who's the one who's up really late right now, says wonder curiosity is the emotion that more people need to cultivate in the world. This, and weird stuff is so much better when it's real, says Kristen Meston. And Grace says our spending priorities in this country are so effed up. And Sadie says, and Jeff Flake being a science funding villain. But I also, don't you think curiosity itself is so beautiful? I mean, hyena butter. If you don't know what hyena butter is, it's a thing to look up. Disgusting, but amazing. And now I know about it, right? So that's the kind of stuff you want. Yeah, I know. I was just creating some curiosity. Yeah. But I want to know, because I have some more questions I need to cue it. But I want to know, what surprised you in did you come across something and just go, wow, I had no idea?
Let's see. The first thing that honestly comes to mind that I was like, really, what was when I was reading and interviewing about the worm blobs, how the California blackworms weave themselves together in these really tight little balls, and Saad Bahamas, the researcher, he did actually bounce them off the floor to see if they would stay together, and they did. So honestly, that was one that I was like, seriously, that's really weird.
It is weird. I also felt like I was sort of because I was literally in my head going, those poor worms, and they're like, but the worms were unharmed, and I was like, okay, I bet they didn't enjoy it though. I feel like they had to be like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Yeah, where's the qualitative study, right? After that, how did you feel when you were dropped on the floor?
I've had a lot of
1
people
through
ask
5.
me how the fish feel about going through the fish cannon.
The fish. Oh,
And
My buddy
I
said if
feel
there
like
was a
I'd
water
like it.
slide like that, he'd go on it. So
yeah.
yeah.
I can't speak for the fish, but I know that the researchers have tried really hard to make it as pleasant of an experience as they can.
What was that thing where they have fish ringing a doorbell to get some kind of fish
yeah.
ladder? So maybe if you put a bell up and the fish would like, no, I like this, ba-ding, ba-ding, like rats ringing a bell or something.
I think that aren't people supposed to watch for invasive species and then like
they gotta you can turn it on and off.
Yeah.
It's a fish doorbell. I love that. Sadie says, our friend has built a carousel featuring creatures made by artist friends. One is a gorgeous mantis shrimp with boxing gloves. Ryan is making a snow lion for it.
That's amazing.
Oh, there it is. That's the thing. In Utrecht, yeah. That's where the Mindy was telling us. That's, how do you pronounce that? I'm not going to try that.
That's why I dropped out of the show. I didn't want you to call on me.
You're like, not me. But yes, the fish doorbell, which is awesome. I lost my train of thought. Oh no, yes. So the worm ball was very weird and interesting. Anything that you just literally were like, this is my favorite weird thing?
I really love the story about the ferret cleaning up the particle accelerator.
That's pretty great.
Yeah, that was a story that I was like, I kind of couldn't make up something better.
I love the ferret story. I put it in your little book promo. I just had to stick the little ferret in there. Oh my gosh, you literally pronounce it like that? This doorbell. That's easy enough. Goodness. Fish doorbell. It's a fish doorbell, Brandy. Got it. So you can buzz the fish in. I overthought that, I guess.
I was surprised. So the ferret was retired, if I remember correctly, was retired after like 12 attempts or 12 trips or something like that, and then
she didn't do it too many times. Then they did some technology thing, which
that is cool.
Fucks all the fun
it's not a ferret.
Yeah. I was waiting for the ferret to get mutated and become a superhero, but apparently
there could be more to that story than I know. So
that's why she was retired, so she could take up her new career as a super ferret, saving ferrets everywhere. Actually,
there was Squirrel Girl in Marvel Comics. There was Squirrel Girl. She had pretty cool powers. When you think about it initially, you're like, what kind of superhero could a Squirrel Girl be? And then you actually see it in the comic book. You're like, that's pretty clever powers.
Yeah. Well, if we're going to talk about heroic animals, probably I'm going to throw in this question by Leanne. It says, I have a weird science poster child for you. What do you know about hero rats?
Too much. I know so much about the hero rats. So that came along with the ferret chapter, where I was kind of looking for ways that animals have been used non-traditionally. So the hero rats are these giant African pouch rats.
They're very big. I've seen.
They're like 3 feet long.
I just want one so bad.
They're adorable. They look so sweet.
They do.
And they're called pouched because they have these pouchy cheeks. And they are incredibly smart and really good at sniffing out, discriminating odors. So they've been used to detect the landmines, which is amazing because they're small enough that they don't actually trigger the landmine to blow up like a dog might. So it's like a perfect thing. And they do little weigh-ins every week. Since I have written this, I think I've now adopted at least 4 hero rats.
In your house adopted them?
No, I wish. On the Apopo website, you can go and you can adopt. I have Baraka, and then I have Jane. I forget the other 2. Something's with a T.
Look at them.
I was gonna ask you, do you have pictures of them on your social media? I could pull them up if you have pictures of them.
I don't, but I should.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So they send monthly newsletters with all these amazing details about them, like what they've been enjoying eating lately, what they've been training to do, have they gotten some playtime, and all of these kinds of things.
Mindy's like, they wear little work vests. They do
know.
wear little work vests.
Yeah, and then they train them to tug on a little chain to indicate they smelled something.
Hey guys, there's some stuff. So cute. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
so cool. They're training them now to be in airports too, to detect like illegal wildlife trade stuff. That would be so cool to be in an airport and just see. Like
I would love it. I'm not sure everybody did. I like bats too. I call them sky puppies, but I have a friend who's not really into bats, so I guess it just depends.
I mean, that sounds like a personal problem. We should have.
Oh, look at
Davey's pulling up the videos right now.
Oh yeah, Davey's very good about this.
I did a podcast a few months ago. The weirdest thing I learned this week, and I nerded out on the hero rats, and I nerded out so hard that the hero rat people actually got wind of it and contacted me.
Did they smell you out?
They were like, we just wanted to talk to you because what's going? You know a whole lot about the hero rats. And
that's adorable.
Yeah,
I just love this.
Yeah, so yeah, we zoomed about a week ago. It was great. She told me that I could visit.
Well, since we're talking about all these great names that you have, Kristen asks, how do you manage to get such great scientist names for silly science like fish, bang, and phlegm?
The fates, man. The fates are with me.
Why don't you tell us a bit more of that?
Yeah. There's only so much I can do but compile all the amazing things that happen to exist in the world already.
So I want to go back to the elephant pee.
Yeah.
I know I'm really hung up on this whole elephant pee thing. So how are we let's talk about applications. So at what, but there's like a science and then you find out that there's an application, but I always am curious about the origin story. Like who went,
right,
peeing elephants is what I want to do. Like, I mean,
yeah. So this one has a great origin story. It was David who's a scientist down at Georgia Tech, and he had a newborn baby who I guess had a habit of peeing whenever he would take the diaper off, as some newborn little boys apparently do. And this
cold brush of air there.
Oh, is that what it is? I was like,
maybe, I don't know. It's like it's tucked in there and then it's cold.
That makes sense.
It's not just the boys. It's not just the boys.
They just have better aim. So he was changing his son's diaper, and his son started to pee. And I guess he had issues in the past with like getting frustrated with this. And his wife had told him that he should just count to calm himself down. So he was counting while his son was peeing on him. And got to like 21 seconds and was like, that's a really long pee. That's actually kind of weird. I don't know. So of course he had to go then be like, how long do I pee? And from there it snowballed. He went into his classroom, I think probably like a fluid mechanics class, and was telling his students about this, and then was like, hey, who wants to go like watch a bunch of animals pee and see how long it takes? And yeah. It's good concentration. And a handful of med student wannabes were like, we can do this because that's what those students are like. And he sent them to the zoo to like track as much pee as he possibly could.
As one does.
Yeah. And honestly, the students came back to him and they were like disappointed because they were like, it wasn't interesting. Everything was like the same. And he was like, well, that's actually really interesting that a dog and an elephant are peeing for the same amount of time. Like there's something very cool happening here. So, and diving into the physics of what
that's great. Like. Mindy Weisberger said, this entire book could be aggregated into a Pixar movie. And I believe this.
Yeah, not for kids though, maybe.
Oh, totally for kids. Are you kidding? Potty humor all over the place in this book. Come on. So question, Rachel, okay, dilute urine versus not, like, some take more or less time to come out. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
is it just healthy pee that comes out in 21 seconds, or
there's so it's 21 plus or minus 13 seconds, which is actually kind of a large variation there. So, there's room for bigger peas and smaller peas.
Right. But she meant like versus concentrated, like, I
Yeah.
have a cat who holds on.
Yeah.
He likes to hold on. He's all about like being a desert animal, right? And he's just like, I'm gonna hold it. But so now I'm really curious. Like, if I timed Darwin, the holder, with Wallace, the never holder, would they be the same? I'm like really curious about this. Could be like a whole study that I do and report back to you guys later.
Right? Absolutely. Yeah, I live on a little farm, so I have a lot of pee to watch.
Kristen Messon said, I honestly did not know that the ignobles were not mean-spirited until this book.
I'm glad you know now.
Yeah. And Leanne, yes, moving to Switzerland, better place to be at the moment, perhaps.
Yeah.
For reasons.
No, they interviewed Mark Abrahams, who is the creator of the Ig Nobels, and he is a wonderful, delightful human.
Of course. It was nothing less.
Yeah, he was so wonderful to talk to about this, and getting his perspective just on talking to him helped me too, because I was a little like, okay, it's silly with like silliness on top of silliness, but then there's also the serious respect and appreciation underneath all of this as well.
For the people that haven't fully read the book yet, we should probably explain what the Ig Nobels are.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Yeah. So the Ig Nobels are an award ceremony that prides itself. What is the tagline? First, we make people laugh, and then we make people think. So it is a celebration of silly science, really, where they look at mostly basic research that has been done that maybe doesn't have an immediate application, and they award things that seem silly, but they do this. So historically it has been at Harvard, although I know that's changing. So it's been like in, big stuffy Harvard buildings, and Nobel laureates are the ones who hand out the awards, but they also fly paper airplanes on stage, and there's like a man painted in silver with a flashlight, and a little girl who yells at the speakers if they've gone on too long.
Yeah, Sadie had an earlier comment where she said, I'm please stop, I'm bored, is a reference that too many people don't get.
Yeah, and they get like a new little girl every year to just yell, please stop, I'm bored, if they go on too long.
That's so funny. That's so funny. But she says the dance your dissertation is another one. She recognized the example, says Mindy, of an Ig Nobel was, are cats solid or liquid? They seem solid. But they conform to container shapes. I have one of my cats is Darwin is definitely liquid. Wallace is round like a beach ball, and when he jumps off a thing, sounds like an elephant. So anyway, we're getting into the show, but I really want to come back to this duck dick situation. So I think it's time, prior to our musical accompaniment, for us to have a little educational video. I think that'd be important.
All right, little ducklings, gather around. It's time for duck sex education class. Now, the first lesson we're going to go over today is that different ducks have different biological needs. You male ducks, you're biologically programmed to try to procreate as much as possible, while the female ducks are biologically programmed to be a little bit more selective with their partners, choose their mating partner. Now, the key to this is communication, which takes us to lesson number 2. Quack means quack. Now, male ducks, if she says quack to you, you got to understand, and you got to go find another duck to try to procreate with. Female ducks, use your voice. Let those male ducks know quack means quack. Now that takes us to lesson number 3, which is female ducks, use what you've got. Your vagina is a mysterious cave of twists and turns and dead ends where sperm goes to die. So use it. Trap those sperm in an endless loop of wrong turns and misdirections until there's nothing left. Female ducks, you've been given an incredible tool here. So when those male ducks come at you with their spiral penises, they're not going to get you pregnant like they think they are. All right, ducklings, remember our lessons here. Remember your unique biology. Remember quack means quack. And remember that your vagina is an endless cave where sperm go to die. All right, that's our lesson for today. Now everybody is heading to recess where we're going to play a rousing game of Duck, Duck, Goose. Yeah. It's an oldie but a goodie for us.
An oldie but a goodie. Yeah.
I texted Brandy. I was like, after 7 seasons, have we earned the right to re-air a sketch?
I think we have. Davey and I are going to try and pull some of these old sketches. We got to find the one where the duck gets God drunk. That's a good one, too. And we're going to try and make some YouTube shorts, which I think would be a lot of fun to watch as well. Now, we did invite. So we have a peculiar who is in the field. He's not always with us. You remember the Fraggles? You remember Fraggle Rock? You remember the uncle? The one Fraggle uncle who's like off on journeys. We have one of those. He's our peculiar in the field. His name is Cord Ravenswood. And he's very well-meaning guy who goes far and then farther. So tonight he has written a song for you and your book.
Oh, hey there, peculiars. It's me, Cord Ravenswood, your peculiar in the field, going far and then farther. And I wanted to take a moment to talk to you all about how much I really love science. In fact, I love it so much, I wanted to proclaim it to you. I believe in science. I believe in the truth. I believe it's incredible, all these things that we do. I believe in listening and learning and wondering and searching. I believe in science. Though sometimes it's weird, if your amygdala is too big, sometimes it's weird, to think about unboiling an egg. Sometimes it's weird, to learn that fungi sing a song. Sometimes it's weird, to know that rats can giggle along if we tickle them. I believe in science. I believe in growth. I believe in vetting before claiming I know. I believe in making connections and expanding foundations. I believe in science. Though sometimes it's weird, to think about hair, toothpaste. Sometimes it's weird, to know that Play-Doh was for waste. Sometimes it's weird, if you thought we could only learn what we knew. Sometimes it's weird to know we stumbled upon super glue and x-rays too. I believe in science. I believe in good thoughts. I believe in the miracles the scientific method has brought. And we know that vaccines don't mislead, though you may perceive some misdeeds, but still I believe in science. I believe in science, though sometimes it's weird. I believe in science, though sometimes it's weird. I believe in science, though sometimes it's weird. Weird, weird. Just like us. Just like us. Just like us. Just like us. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, peculiars. I am a big fan of science, both the weird, peculiar idiosyncrasies in science, as well as the broad, more mundane things. You never know where they lead. Well, I better get back to work. Toodaloo!
That was amazing.
That's Cord. That's Cord. Just like us, says Leanne. I love that, possibly the most out of all of his songs, says Rachel. Kristen actually said, I want an actual recording of this song. Please, Cord. Great
Ooh,
song.
maybe we could do a Cord Ravenswood CD or something.
We
like
really
that.
should. We
Yeah.
really should. Cord is great. Cord is and Uncle Matt, traveling Matt. Apparently, Mindy just popped in, and this is quite interesting. It says that was an inside joke. If you were a video editor, a traveling mat is a mat that changes to mask the shape of moving objects. I didn't know that. I would like to start every day to start that tune. That's great, Bunny. It was very catchy, I have to say. I wait till he hears all this. I'm going to tell him all this stuff that you say. He usually watches it later. Our Cord actually has a job. He's an actor, and he's usually busy in the evening. So he's usually an actor and a singer-songwriter in a couple of bands. And including one band that is out there doing basically resistance songs, and so they turn up at rallies and things like that, of that nature. So that's our fella. I saw a couple other questions come in here, and one of them was, this is from Mindy again. Is there a certain personality type among scientists that gravitate toward weird, unconventional experiments and observations?
Yeah, I think there's just something, if you've gotten far enough in life to like go down a scientific path, like you're just already there. Like if you are a scientist, all you're doing is asking questions all the time about all the things. So I don't know what kind of personality type we want to call that, but yes, there is.
Yes, there is, but it's all of us, right?
Yeah.
Kind of. If you're weird, your family. That makes sense. Yeah, that's hilarious. Oh, now a lot of people we need a PBC playlist. You're right, we do. We our other band it's a band in its own right. Charming Disaster is our house band, and they're also wonderful and pop in. Leanne says scientists know it's okay to be wrong, and many people don't feel that way. Gosh, that has weird repercussions for what's happening in the world right now.
Right? Yeah.
Admitting you're wrong. I don't know.
It's a different way of thinking than a lot of people do, to be like, okay, I just got new data. Now I shift.
And I think that, and I'm not saying, I'm a historian of science, and I know that it's not like it's new that people want to drill down when they're wrong. Yeah. It's not new. It's some people try to, it's that whole might makes right thing. You can use might to make it right. But it really is something that it's incredibly freeing to be able to admit that you're not right about something. Right. As a writer, you had an editor, right?
Yeah.
And I had editors when I turn in a book, even if I think it's as right as it can be, and the editor goes like, nah, they're usually like correct. And you got to go back and you rehash it, and things come out so much better. And it's so freeing not to feel like you have to die on every hill.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. I love not knowing something. Mm-hmm. Like when someone asks me something I genuinely don't know, because I can go find out. Learn something new. It's not like I'm like, oh no, I'm a bad scientist because I didn't know. It's like,
right,
I'm a good scientist because I'm going to go find out.
Because you're going to go find out. Exactly. It's the other side of the coin. Ryan just popped up to say, I've had a lot of art fails. I think most creative people recognize that failure is a step on the process.
Yep.
And that's true for all kinds of things. Davey does comedy, and he does video, and he does podcasts, and he does all this. We all fail up pretty much, and for people being afraid of doing that, it's just deeply, deeply upsetting. Kristen says, I couldn't decide what to focus on for my degree because I wanted to know all of it. I ended up taking multiple courses in marine invertebrates and zoo animal behavior because everything is interesting. And that is the truth.
Yeah. This is like one of the most fun things about being a professor, is that I'm just also continually learning. And just writing. I loved writing this book. Like, I would be in my office and I would just be shouting out random facts across the hall to my poor colleagues who never asked.
So you became autistic for a brief period of time. I'm autistic. I do that all the time. Like I like walk into various, I tell the story and people think I'm joking. It's not a joke. It's the fact that my response to uncomfortable cocktail parties is to start shouting random facts, which was the musing at the front of my newsletter this past week, which is me. That was the musing, was me saying, you can say stuff like, hey, dinosaur cloacas and duck penises, and it's amazing how people will leave you alone actually as a result of that. Sadie says it was very apparent that you were having fun writing the book.
I'm glad it was, because I genuinely did. I'm looking for another book where I get to have that kind of fun. When I did the Mr. Humble and Dr. Butcher, which was about monkey head transplants, there was a lot of that book where I kept going like, nah, oh yeah, that's a thing. Okay, no, whoa, yeah, that was great. Like I so enjoyed that, writing about like the rise of Nazis, and that was less fun. So I think my next one is going to go back towards let's find some weird shit to talk about. How about, I hope
that?
so.
Yeah. I think that's good. Well, I'm going to encourage folks. We are getting to that point now where just about 3/4 of the way through the show. Put any final questions in and get those going, because I want us to queue up the Davy quiz.
Well, before we get to it, I kind of want to ask you about one of my favorite stories in the book. One called Chapters, but stories in the book, which was about was it licking mice?
Oh, the massaging, baby massage. Yeah.
Because I felt like that was like a great example of like weird problem, even weirder solution.
Yeah.
But then someone heard it at a conference and was like, I can use that. Like,
right.
Like, and actually, like, yeah.
Let's tell a little bit about that for our listeners and our watchers. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk that through.
This was a lab. They were working on studying like growth factors, and they were using rats as models as they were studying them. And they had to take the babies away from their moms in order to do the testing that they needed to do. And what they were finding is that just like they weren't developing the way that they knew normal baby rats should develop. And so they were trying to figure out what was going on. Ultimately, they kind of had to can their original project and figure out why these ones were weird. And they were testing things like, food and temperature and bedding, like all the things you can think of. And they tried cages where they like mom and baby were separate but could see each other. And it turns out it's really like the tactile, the touch of the mama is what those babies need in order to get those growth factors going. And so mama will lick their baby. What the scientists did is they took little brushes. They didn't actually lick them. They took little brushes and they simulated licking.
If they were really committed, they would have.
I'm just saying. Who hasn't licked their cat at least once? No.
So, and then it turns out that information, it was really useful, actually applied to prematurely born humans too.
Howard's Mindy says for not licking their babies.
So this massage technique has been picked up in hospitals, and it really helps preemies to develop faster, gain weight better, and actually get out of the hospital up to like a week faster than they would.
That is a fascinating thing, because I think we all know how important the senses are. We always tend to privilege things like sight, hearing, and taste and touch are always like way down on the scale, but they're so important. And I think and smell and all that, what we wouldn't be able to do without those other senses. And I feel like COVID taught people again how important it is to be able to taste and smell, but tactile stuff is so huge.
Yeah, for sure. And like before it,
Mindy's like, I licked my baby. It seemed perfectly normal at the time.
As long as it was your baby and not someone else.
Well, that's true. Like maybe don't go around licking other people's babies.
You were talking about licking your cat, and I'll tell you that dogs give lots of kisses. And my daughter, when she was like 6 months old, was like, "Oh, this is how you kiss." So she would just stick her tongue out and lick,
All right. Yeah.
Dog,
yeah.
I had a male dog growing up, and I watched him lift his leg on a lot of trees. And I thought for quite some time that is how I should too.
How you should pee.
Mm-hmm.
How did it work
Also,
out? I'm curious.
I was little at least, but my mom also used to feed me milk bones, so this is all.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
it does. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if anybody saw it's been going around on Instagram, the like, this is who you are asking to do blah blah blah, right? And it's a picture of you when you're a little kid.
Yeah.
So I think we need to see a picture of Carly Ann York lifting her leg and say, this is who's going to write this book, the Salmon Cannon and the Levitating Frog. I put that one up of me that looks exactly like me being irritated about something, but I was like 4. Because my whole life makes sense out of that photo. You just look at that photo and go, yeah, that's pretty much how she turned out.
I'll tell you, one time I was on a walk with the dog and we were like at the back end of a nature trail and I just really had to go. So I stepped behind a tree and went, and the dog was looking at me like, oh, we could have been talking about this the whole time.
Like, I had no idea. That's great.
To kind of cue up my quiz, I want to ask you again about the title of the book. So it's funny that we've gone this whole hour and we haven't talked about the Salmon Cannon or the Levitating Frog. So do we want to talk about them quickly? Because I think it's going to be crucial information before the quiz hits.
Okay.
True.
All right.
By the way, Kristen thinks the dog was timing you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Salmon Cannon. This was an invention using a pneumatic tube to move fish over dams.
Suck fish over
Yes, to suck fish up and over dams. So like our fish like salmon who go upstream to breed, we build these big dams and then they can't get where they want to go. We've tried things like they call them fish ladders, but they didn't work so well. So the idea here was basically you like put in a pneumatic tube and you suck the fish up over the thing and like shoot them out.
You're literally sucking a damn fish.
But they don't they don't just like go to the other side and then back down.
They really
shoot out. Yeah.
yeah. There's some power behind it.
Yeah.
But it seems to be working well. Apparently before that, another method was just like scooping them up with a net in a helicopter and driving them up and dropping them. So that sounds dramatic.
That does sound dramatic.
This is much better.
This is just a nice little slide. So that's what that's about. The Levitating Frog, that actually came out of the lab of a Nobel Prize winner, Andre Geim, and he used to do this thing. I mean, maybe he still does. I'm not sure. He called it Friday Night Experiments, which is basically him and his science buddies and grad students would just go in the lab and goof off, and they would just like try weird things, which is such a fun, liberating like idea to be like, especially I don't know when you're in academia and you're like must produce papers on science, instead being like I'm just gonna like play.
See what we can make happen.
Yeah,
you get Frankenstein, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
you're like, yeah, of course.
Or levitating frogs.
Yeah, and what happened was he had these like giant electromagnets in his lab, and apparently he dumped water down it, which he later was like, I probably shouldn't have done that, but he dumped water in it, and the water actually like levitated. So once they saw that, they were like, what else can we levitate? So they had pizza because of course they did. So they tried levitating pizza. And then they were like, what about a frog? So they went down to biology and like stole a little frog from biology lab and levitated the frog, and boom, history.
You know, the really funny thing though is imagine returning that frog. The frog's like, you guys, you are not going to believe the shit that just went down. And they're all like, uh-huh. Did you get abducted by aliens again, Todd?
Yeah. And apparently the frog was unfazed. That's what they say. Again, I haven't asked.
No one's asked the frog. Okay.
Well, all right. Thank you for filling. Those stories are much appreciated because they are incredible. And they're the title of your book too. So not that it gives any weight to any of the stories. If you haven't read it yet, all the stories in the book get equal weight.
All of them. Yes. Okay.
So, we have all these stories of these animals doing amazing things. And it was like, yeah, like that's great. But, us humans can do pretty incredible things too. So I took 3 stories from your book and we're going to kind of look at the human side of things. So the quiz this week is called Humans Can Do Things Too. So you talked about one of the stories in the book was about snakes flying.
Yes.
And I was like, and there's a weird way of not just gliding, but they actually undulate through the air.
Yeah.
But, you know, us humans have found ways to, without engines, we found ways to fly too. So on March 27th of 2025, Chilean pilot Sebastian Alvarez set 3 major wingsuit world records. He traveled a distance of 33.22 miles. He stayed in flight for 11 minutes and 1 second, shattering that record, and reached a top speed of what? Was he traveling at A, 157 miles per hour, B, 289 miles per hour, or C, 342 miles per hour? Now the peculiars will help you out in the chat here. They'll start to populate.
Kristen wants to know if this is an SAT question.
Yes, if wing pilot Chilean pilot Alvarez leaves at an altitude of this, what would he be traveling? Yeah.
I'm going with A. The others, those just
all right.
too fast.
We got a B from Leanne, a B from Randy.
Maybe
Sadie's excited because she's just remembered about flying snakes.
The answer is actually
Ryan says A.
C, 342 miles per hour. He's wearing
the SAT.
Skin flies off your face.
He's clearly wearing a special flight suit here, but he's got, like, in the mask there are oxygen tanks actually feeding him oxygen because you wouldn't be able to breathe.
That's insane.
Yeah. I have videos of all these things pulled up, which we can get to in a second.
That is just too fast, is what that is.
Question number 2. While human levitation hasn't been achievable yet, magicians have found a way to fool us into believing they can levitate. A popular form involves standing at about a 45-degree angle from your audience and lifting your front foot while rising on the toes of your back foot. It's called the blank. And you can kind of see it there in the photo for our audio listeners. Is it A, the Balducci levitation, B, the Quattrini levitation, or C, the Pasquantino levitation?
Where are you pulling these names from, Davey? Your faked up names are... Okay.
Actually, I have a fun story for that.
Okay.
Apparently, this is what David Blaine did when he was doing his, like, show or whatever, Street Magic, and then they would go back later and film him, like, hours later. They would just, like, put him on some wires and actually lift him off the ground. But, like, if you look at the original footage, he was doing this for the actual audience.
Randy says the Chris Angel.
I'm going with B.
She's going to be the Quattrini levitation. And they're not even guessing in the chat. I really
Ryan's like they're all correct.
This is very famous amongst magicians. This is a very famous one here. So the answer is Kristen Meston might have it. The Balducci.
Levitation. All right, so where did you get these other names from, dude?
They are members of Team Italy's World Baseball Classic roster.
Of course they are.
Quattrini's a pitcher and Pasquantini's the first baseman.
Oh, Kristen actually did have an A, but I just didn't
Kristen
get it.
Got it. Yeah, at the last second, Kristen got it in there. I'm giving her credit. She had it in there before I said the answer.
It was in there.
But yeah, if you look this up, I got a video of this too. I can show you how it works, but it's a pretty simple but effective trick if you're standing in the right area.
I would never. Right. I would do it backwards. I'm sure of it. Okay, human.
Finally, William Leonard Hunt, known in the circus world as the Great Ferrini, conceived and designed the first human cannon, performed by his son Samuel Wasgate. The act was known as the Lulu Leap. Now, pictured here, I couldn't find a picture of that, but this is Zazel. She was the first act billed as the human cannonball. Now, how did the cannon work? A, was it pneumatic tubes? B, was it gunpowder? Or C, was it rubber springs? How do you think Samuel Wasgate and Zazel flew through the air?
I'll tell you this, we had honestly, pneumatic tubes.
This whole quiz might be inspired. She's going to see. It might be inspired by Gonzo and his love of being the human cannon, or the Gonzo cannon. I guess we can't call it a human cannon because Gonzo's an alien.
Rubber Spring seems like that would make more sense, but then I'm not really sure.
They weren't very safe back then, you know.
Yeah, I'm so curious though.
All right, we got a lot of C's. Okay, lots of C's.
The answer is
lots of C's in there. Shoved out a cannon by Hero Rat, says Mindy. Please be A, says Bunny.
The answer is yes. Rubber
Rubber
springs.
springs.
Yes, the answer is rubber springs.
Oh my gosh, that is
All right,
amazing.
really quick. I'll show you the. See if I can share my screen here. So this is the flight, and there's a clip here where they show just how fast he's going. They like cut to another angle right here. So look
Okay.
for him right in the center of your screen.
Whoa,
There you go.
Oh my gosh.
So that,
wow.
and then the levitation trick. Let's see if I can get that one pulled up.
That was fast.
That was really fast.
That was very fast.
So
Okay.
here is the levitation.
Okay.
I'll kind of skip ahead here.
All right. So he's like, look, I'm levitating, but he's actually just picking up with one foot.
So you're kind of hiding. You're hiding your foot there.
You're
yeah.
hiding your foot with your other foot. It would be helpful, perhaps, if you had 1 foot bigger than the other one. I don't know. I did have one other question that popped in the chat earlier, and that is there's a sign above the light switch on your door, and we're always very interested in people's like backdrops, and so I've had questions. What does the sign say?
It says religion and philosophy, and I'm pretty sure. So my husband is actually a religion professor, which means we get to have like all kinds of like crazy cool conversations. And I'm pretty sure he stole it from somewhere.
As you do when you're religious, it's a very common thing.
Do. Yeah, I don't. He's stolen a lot of signs.
Yeah, I have a sign above my door that I did not steal, but it says something like the unchallenged mind eats itself, I think.
Yeah, he's a religion professor, but he's not like a
religious
human.
professor.
Like...
It's a lot of moral relativity just working its way into there.
He got like really obsessed with Christian martyrs and decided to get a PhD.
Wow.
He would have enjoyed our last book, Cults Like Us.
Yeah. That was a good one. That was good. You can watch it. It's on YouTube. Just like this will be. If you're watching it after the fact, by the way, that means you can go back and repeatedly watch again and again Davey talking about sex ed for ducks. So you can
share with your friends.
You share with your friends. Yeah. Quack means quack, frankly. All right. Are there any last questions or things that I have missed? I'm going to go back through here because a lot of things pop in while we're doing the quiz. I don't always catch them. Oh yeah, Kristen's like they did always look like they were jumping out of the cannon. That is kind of true.
I actually have video of that too. Want to see a guy jumping out?
Yeah,
of the cannon?
let's see it. That's a
here.
good way to end here.
Here he is.
Here we go.
It's just a montage of all his this one guy's stunts.
Doesn't
that look fun?
It does.
It does look fun.
I would sign up for that.
Oh wait, Liam wants to know, how do you order powdered Gila monster venom?
Great question. I don't know. That seems like one of those things that you could order on like Carolina Biological, but you have to give them a top secret number before they let you like order it.
I just found out that you can order medicine on Amazon and they give you an Amazon doc, and I'm like, what? Seems not legal, but okay. Yeah. Anyway.
Healthcare, man.
Hey, download your poisons, do your Gila monster venoms. Thank you so much for being on our show with us. This was amazing and all kinds of fun. And you guys should go out and get the book immediately, as in like right now. And be careful if you're going to listen to it on the treadmill. There it is. Lovely picture. It is a lovely cover too. I liked it. It's just so easy to pick out too. Like I love it. One of my covers is bright orange. And like when I'm walking in a bookstore, I'm like, there it is.
Yeah.
It's just nice to be able to find it. Right. So thank you again. Thank all of you for being here tonight with us at a place where if you're weird, you're family.
You got the blue bottle blues when you wake up in the night. Don't make a big mistake, 'cause you can never make it right. When you reach out for the vial, feel the ridges in the glass. It's a matter of survival, baby, better watch your back. There is no antidote. There is no antidote. There is no antidote. There is no antidote. There is no antidote.